Voltron Network.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the DC versus Marvel podcast, where we talk about the latest DC and Marvel movie news. My name is Uz, and I'm your regular DC fanboy. And once again, I say in the red corner, but I'm the one with the red on today, basically, right? It's my boy Ed's representing Marvel Comics. How you doing, bro?
Magnifique.
Actually, representing PlayStation, I think it is today, right? Representing
got to represent the tribe, man.
Exactly. You got to represent the PS. Look at that PS5, man, the glorious PS5. You know what I mean?
Still rare. People still can't find them.
That is true, man. That is true. But you know, these like computer games are so flipping addictive, man. It's like my kids, I give them, like, you know, money every week for pocket money, and now instead they've got these like little kind of credit card things that you can put money into, right? So I've been doing that every week, and every week they've been trying to save enough money to get something. So this week now they've accumulated like 70 quid basically, right?
Damn.
So
discipline kids.
yeah.
Crazy.
So my daughter's like, oh, I want to go and buy these massive Lego set, and obviously like Legos are like super expensive. And my son's like, oh, I want to, you know, go buy computer games. So he bought Luigi's Mansion on the Switch. And that thing, man, ridiculously addictive. Like literally, like I think we were playing it for like 5 hours on a Saturday, and like
wow.
my wife's like, what the hell are you guys doing, man? You're just sitting there playing this game. Like, you know, like literally the whole day was spent just playing Luigi.
Argument should always be, whenever that comes up, I'm teaching the boy hand-eye coordination. That should be your go-to.
The thing is, though, you know, kids nowadays, they're so used to watching somebody else play on YouTube. Is that what they do? Is they're like, oh yeah, I want to you play it, I want to watch you play it.
I'm like, finding that is happening to me as well. It's mad. Even with this thing here, it's like a game that I've got, but I'll watch somebody else play it rather than
you do.
I'll play like 5 minutes of it and be like, no, and just watch somebody else play it. Like, what has happened to my brain? Like, what is going on?
That's exactly what the kids are like. They're like literally like, can you play it and we'll watch you? Because they're kind of scared to be like, if they get killed by the ghosts or whatever, they're like, you know, they're like scared to make a mistake. Whereas like, if I die, I don't care, I'll start again. You know what I mean? I think that's a mentality of kids a lot these days.
That
man.
Is discipline, or they can save that much money. Like, when I look at pictures of myself when I was young, through teenage years to before, I was so skinny, and the reason for that completely goes down to comic books, because every bit of money I would get, lunch money, any little bit of spending money, went to buying comic books, and I was literally starving myself. Like, I just looked like I lost in the jungle, like just discovered by explorers. I just looked like all emaciated. It's like these things nearly killed me, man.
Discovered with a huge collection of Image comics.
Yeah,
just in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. You know what I mean? That's hilarious.
What sort of physical state could I have been in if I actually had nutrition? I could have been like 7 foot tall or something, but I just starved myself.
That's true. You could have been like literally like a monster, like, you know what I mean? Like fully like, you know, just you know, and then the Hollywood dreams could have come true as well.
You know? Me and Rock could have been peers.
Exactly.
Enemies.
A stare down, you know what I mean? Like you know, that would be the thing. So guys, we have got a lot of comic book stuff to be talking about today. We're gonna be talking about the Air Cut, we're gonna be talking about some Star Wars Peacemaker finale, the Batman Deathstroke storyboards that come up, so Wonder Twins, Zero with 50 Cent, some Marvel comic stuff, Wild Cards, and The Boys as well. So much stuff to talk about, man. So where do we start? We'll start with the Air Cut. This is a thing that doesn't seem to be going away, like ever, basically. David Ayer is continuously releasing, you know, things based on stuff that he had shot. And the newest stuff that he's done is a small bit of footage and also some photos of Harley Quinn in like a, you know, blue and red kind of wedding dress kind of thing. getting married to the Joker. Obviously David Ayer is kind of thinking, maybe if I'm lucky, I might get this.
Well, now's the
this
time
thing.
to start doing it, because it wasn't going to happen before with the other Suicide Squad movie coming out. But now that's kind of died down. Maybe he's feeling like, okay, and then maybe Warner Brothers be open to maybe doing this now. It's not contradicting anything else. People won't be confused.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Because the Harley Quinn is there, and I mean, the thing is, like, I'm all for directors, like, having their vision and stuff like that, but for me, like, when I saw the Suicide Squad, I was so disappointed in it, and I had this thing, like, when I saw the Joker, I was like, what the hell have you done? Right? What have you done to this thing? And also just thinking to myself, like, why would you choose this storyline? It's such a bizarre, over fantastical storyline to be choosing, which makes very little sense
for the
and
characters he had. Yeah.
And now they're retrofitting it, saying, it was because the fact that we're gonna have Steppenwolf there and blah blah. It's like, there's no point. You could have made a much more compact, smaller, whatever storyline, and basically they decided to get Ego, kind of make the best of them pretty much, and just go off on one.
How much cheaper would it have been if it wasn't some ancient god reincarnated? Like, you didn't need to be that, because Suicide Squad works best when it's more grounded villains are going after, because what's the point of, what good would someone like the Harley Quinn be necessarily against what they were going up against?
I still stand by my by my rewrite, which is basically which is the the thing that, because they're going and they go to this place and they're like, oh, you got to go and save this person or whatever, and it's they go and it's Amanda Waller.
Yeah, that would have been so much better.
And the thing is, they save Amanda Waller, but my theory was basically, like, they go and they save somebody, but they don't know who this person is, but the audience knows who it is. And it would have been Steve Trevor, because then the audience is like, how is he alive like in this? And then it's like, okay, fine, they've gone to save Steve Trevor in this thing. They don't know who this guy is. Nobody knows who this guy is, apart from the audience, who are now gonna have 10 trillion videos on YouTube trying to say, how is Steve Trevor alive? How is this happening? Much more compacted storyline, and it would have made everything, fit a lot better. But I don't know, man. Ego is ego. You know what I mean? I guess so. They never would have done that. So would you? I guess you'd watch the haircut. Well, we'd probably all watch the haircut if it was coming, right? But
want to see whether his arguments are founded, like if it really was a better film. Turn out that Snyder's was, so maybe his is too. Who knows? So
it couldn't be any worse.
No,
right? So
no way.
So it's definitely going to be better, but how much better, God knows, man. You know what I mean? So if we ever get that, then fair enough, man. But one thing that doesn't fill me with hope is basically that my sister-in-law, she loves watching tennis and stuff, right? So she's got Discovery Plus, basically, to watch the sports and things like that. So when she came over to our house there, over a couple of weekends ago, we logged in to Discovery Plus so she could watch the tennis and stuff, right? And since then, she's like, oh, just don't bother unlogging, just like leave it on there and you guys can watch it.
Nice.
And I've been on Discovery Plus, right? And it's like, it is the worst programming I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's just one of those goofy reality shows, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, my 600-pound life, my 800-pound life, 90-day fiance, 60-day fiance, what's it called? Like gold kind of, people basically go and find gold in some random place and stuff. And it's like literally all the programming is that. And it's like
TV. What happened to Discovery, man? Come on. That was prestige television when I was younger.
Yeah, exactly. And those are the guys who are buying by
Yeah,
Warner
Warner
Brothers,
Brothers.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, the trash level of TV that is gonna be. You know what I mean? So it's just like Discovery are literally gonna be like, these things cost us nothing to make us a crap load of money. So that's the kind of crap that we basically want to put on. It will literally, actually, it might be good, because they might actually go. It'll be like, oh, let's go to fans' houses to see their collections of comic book stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that we're gonna get on there.
What was that
So,
Kevin Smith show that he had? What, Comic Book Men? He'd just be like, no, that focus to
yeah.
DC. Oh, that's what it would be.
That's basically what it's going to be. Oh, we went to this. It'll be like Cribs, but like a DC version. Like they'll just keep
Get
going
it
to
out his
different
bedroom,
places.
like the Batcave. Check it out.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so let's go on to some Disney stuff there now. And John Watts, who seems to not be able to do anything wrong for Disney and Marvel, has been offered a Star Wars film, right? So John Watts in the Star Wars film, obviously a lot of the stuff that he's been doing is kind of like,
well, John Watts, who directed the Spider-Man films,
Spider-Man stuff, yeah. So
do you reckon
would you be
this is connected to Feige? Because we know that Feige is developing his own trilogy in Star Wars. So he's not a director. So do you think Watts could be the director that he's bringing in?
It might be. It might be. Yeah, it might be like Feige's made an outline of a storyline kind of thing, and then he's like, you come and direct it, and then go from there. I mean, I could, there's so many stories that can be told in stuff like that, and I guess, the young Jedi is the kind of stuff that a lot of people want to see, but also there's so many stories that are kind of outside that kind of thing. That they could tell. I mean, what they could do is retroactively try and save those stupid mods that are in what's it called, in Boba Fett, because those characters have been in a lot of the Star Wars stuff, and this Star Wars The Old Republic, when you're playing it, you come across characters like that all the time, but they're in like a built up metropolis like Coruscant or Nar Shaddaa or something like that. So they fit in those kind of things. They don't fit in the middle of the bloody desert, because it makes no sense, but it would fit if they're going around the kind of the streets of Coruscant or something. So maybe, I don't know, they might decide, let's try and save those people, man.
I've been listening to still haven't finished it yet, but I've been listening to more of the Ronin, the audio book, which is the Ronin that was based on that little short story from Star Wars Visions. And I'm thinking, damn, man, why can't this be a film? This would have been so cool. Why do we want to stick with the same formula? This would have been amazing.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, I think the Skywalker stuff, basically, like the story of the Skywalkers, is pretty much done, right?
Yeah.
And now I think they could say, like, okay, we've got this rich lore of like the Old Republic, and like things that are going on in different kind of places and stuff like that. And I think they could quite easily just go across that. They could the one I've liked the Ronin stuff, but I've got 6 hours into it and I've kind of lost myself now. So I'm kind of just like, there's so many characters, like I've forgotten, like they keep mentioning like one character, and I'm thinking, who is this person? Like, I've got to skip back like maybe an hour or so to figure out how to do that. These characters.
Yeah, when you don't hit it hard straight away and get through it, you can't really take long breaks because you just completely forget.
Yeah. It's like Dune. Like I've tried to come back to that like 3-4 times, and I'll do 40 minutes and then be like, no, I'm done.
You get why it's so hard? It took me so long, so many years to get through that book. It's just insane. I want to see other Force users, like other factions that aren't just Sith or Jedi, like other people that use the Force and are one with it and Force sensitive, that just have their own little cults. Damn. Like, give me something more interesting, something new. And we know that there are others. They're like witches, Force witches, that there. So give me something, focus on other.
100%. yeah. And I think the thing is like they could do like what they're trying to do there today, where they're basically like, oh, we need to get representation for every single nation and type of person in the world in Hollywood, and also at the same time do the Star Wars stuff, because we've got the Ronin. I mean, he could be roaming around. He could come across like he could come across like people in the mountains in like Nepal and stuff like that, and then he could come across like he come across like nomads in the Arabian desert who may use like certain kind of force powers and stuff like that, and then come across like go to lands there where you're like in a pseudo Africa, not actually Africa, but you're kind of like and then Europe, and then medieval Europe, like the Viking ones who kind of maybe think like using a lightsaber is like unacceptable, so they just use like
they wield the force with their hands. They just,
and that they can enhance like any weapon, like so like an axe, they could just like put the force through an axe. They could just could do that and basically encompass like every single kind of thing, which is what they want to do, but also at the same time keep it within the Star Wars universe. So I think that would be quite interesting.
They don't have it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But also at the same time, it's like the same jobs keep going to the same people, which is always what happens. And when you get somebody else in, they're like, right, okay, we want to put our own agenda in, and that's it. And it's just like kind of just circle and circle and circle. Nothing really ever changes, man. So yeah. Speaking of that, the Peacemaker finale.
Oh,
right.
Oh, wait a minute.
So, Peacemaker finale, man, has this caused a flipping split in the DC fandom, or what? Oh my! Goodness.
What are people moaning about now? That was so fun. Come on.
Okay, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I enjoyed the ending of it there as well, which we'll talk about there in a minute. However, I don't know what it is. I honestly don't know what it is, but you've got this core of people which, do you know what? Honestly, like I've said this so many times, I love Zack. I love his movies, going back to Dawn of the Dead and 300 and stuff like that. Sucker Punch, not so much, but Dawn of the Dead, 300, yeah, kind of. I've really liked his films, but it's almost verging on a worship now, where it's getting to the stage where it's like he's the only one who can do it. Like people put up so much ridiculous stuff, like like basically so in Batman v Superman, where they're talking about Alexander the Great sword, and the sword is the only one that could cut the Gordian knot and stuff like that, and then putting up a picture of Superman there later where where he's fighting against Doomsday, and somehow saying like Doomsday's bone extensions are the same as the Alexander's sword, and they're cutting Superman, who's the Gordian knot, and kind of trying to link it together and saying,
you're giving Zack way too much credit.
Being like, that smart. Dude, you ain't that smart now. This is the level of craziness that people are going to, man, and like really like retroactively trying to put stuff in, which is just going crazy. So with this, obviously this Peacemaker finale has been quite divisive, because it's cemented even more some of the people in their kind of Snyder only situation, based on what Ray Fisher said as well. And cemented other people into thinking, okay, yeah, that's fine, we like it, let's move forward. Maybe it's linked to DCU, maybe there's a multiverse, blah blah blah, whatever. And other people who have just enjoyed Peacemaker for just the fact of it's Peacemaker, and it's just a good program. So we kind of see at the end of the last one, obviously, like the White Dragon is dead, but he's actually in Peacemaker's mind. Like there's something that has embedded him into his mind, and that is very much like, okay, and I haven't seen anybody say this online, which is bizarre, the Arkham games when the Joker dies and the Joker is in Batman's mind like all the time, right? And it's very much like that in the throughout the episode and stuff.
Yeah, for me it was like reminiscent of anyone that watched Dexter back in the day. It was a similar thing. He always had his dad, who was already dead, in his mind, kind of like as a conscience on his shoulder, and in the newer one, his sister. But yeah, it's gonna be like that. He's just always, because of the trauma of what his dad put him through, man. His dad's always gonna be there, just screaming at him and saying how pathetic he is. It's gonna be interesting.
So the basic mission in this is that they're going to go to the area where the cow is, which is basically this massive bug that releases this some kind of fluid that the butterflies kind of feed off and stuff like that. And their mission is basically to go and kill the cow so that then the butterflies have nothing to feed on. In effect, the butterflies are going to die, and then that's it. And to start off with, I don't know how that is the only cow that is there, because they showed a map of the world and there's like butterflies all over it. Right?
So they're shipping this stuff around the world or something. How can one cow provide enough food for them?
Or there's like multiple cows. There's got to be multiple cows, man. Come on, like there's got to be. But I don't know. So anyway,
the way they reacted though, man, when it was dying, the tears in their eyes, like it was this endangered, this precious thing that gives them life. So maybe
that's the thing, man. They were like, those lot were like really like proper sad when it was kind of happening, like especially the leader, the cop, basically. She literally ran back into the place there to do it. We see like that. I don't know, a vigilante must have healing factor or something, right? Because this dude, I don't know how the hell exactly he gets so messed up and he's like somehow still survives. I don't know how he still survives, man. But this is the thing. This is another thing about the splits in the DC fandom. Some CW fans are putting up photos of Vigilante who was in the Arrowverse, and I never knew there was one. But there's pics of this is the Arrowverse Vigilante. Is so much better. Like it's like no one gives a shit, man. Honestly, no one gives a shit.
No one cares.
So we basically get Peacemaker and his crew are all just basically going in to kind of kill the cow. And it ends up getting revealed that basically the reason why the butterflies have kind of come here is to kind of like the standard argument that is always with humans, which is basically like, you're destroying yourself, so we got. It's like such a trope that is used in every single bloody film known to man, like, oh, you're killing yourselves, so we got to stop you killing yourselves, or
you're wrong, good.
And then you've got one person who's basically like, no, but I see great in them.
We have potential.
Like, they have great potential to be amazing species. It's like, it's just such a joke, but the way it was done, I love the fact that James Gunn, I think, was poking fun at that. Like to say, like, actually, this thing is a stupid trope, and Peacemaker just like, sod it, I'm not listening to that. He just.
Well, yeah, but I like the fact that he was struggling with it afterwards. Like, did I just doom the human race? And he was like, I don't know, maybe which we know is a yes. With how things are going in like Ukraine right now, yes.
Yeah, he pretty much because there's a cow in Ukraine. And that's the reason why.
That's why they're all
gonna rush to go in there. They don't want to tell us there's a cow there, and they're all butterflies. So before this, we get a setup because we kind of know there that Peacemaker's helmets do different things, and we obviously have X-ray vision in one of them. Another one there is like anti-gravity, which is so hilarious because it's basically like they activate it by accident and it flies off. And I'm just thinking, if this is attached to his head.
Yeah,
flies up like that.
Well, but then he'd be able to say, but he'd be able to say that anti-gravity off though, wouldn't he? He wouldn't be able to. He wouldn't just like flow him away.
Even if he's, I know, but that's the point. Like, even if he's 1 foot off the ground, like he's been pulled up by the top of his head, like literally from here, it's pulling him up.
I'm reaching. I know that I'm reaching, but I'm guessing it works kind of like the Cannon helmet, where it kind of has that wave that's around him, like that force field,
yeah.
and just
Like,
takes him all up.
can you imagine though, like the neck pain of being pulled
God,
up in the
that would
air
be
by
crazy.
your head? So obviously they can't use that that anti-gravity thing. They send Eagly after it, and Eagly just like
Useless.
it, man. Eagly just like chips off, man. So which is the hilarity, because it's kind of like they give you this thing to kind of make it like, okay, Eagly is like this sentient being that kind of like, you know, understands what they're saying.
Super smart.
But then sometimes it's like, nah, he doesn't. It's just like, is it a fluke that he's hugging, or is it just like, I don't
Basically,
know?
like a dog. Like, that's what dogs are. They just sometimes they do what you tell them, sometimes they don't. It's just how he is.
So the one that they're left with is the experimental one, which is the human torpedo.
Yeah.
Helmet, right? And basically in one of the most joke scenes where I was like laughing my head off when I saw this, was like Amanda Waller's daughter, who I always forget the name of again. She basically comes in to like save the day. And she's like, she has the helmet on, and she's like, activate human torpedo. Basically,
Flies past them and right into the wall.
Exactly. And the concussion that she must have got from that there as well. But then later on, like what's it called? Peacemaker reactivates the helmet, is like, activate human torpedo. She basically flies into the cow, like, and the cow just gets annihilated, man. All the guts and everything come out and stuff. And yeah, obviously it's just like, it's the end of the cow, man. Like proper Starship Troopers mission going on there. You know what I mean? So that was proper entertaining, man. That bit. And then within that time, obviously we see
well, we got to speak on the fact that everyone got fucked up right before that. So we've got like, you know, the blonde chick just got that crap
she
shot
got
out
shot.
of her.
Like, I mean, she got shot. She had no armor on, but somehow is surviving,
Which is
with
dumb.
no
Why?
pressure on the wound or anything. Literally no wound pressure. But she is James Gunn's girlfriend in real life, right? So he's not going to kill her off. So there's her, and did the bearded dude get messed up as well? I think he broke his leg, didn't he? His bone was sticking out. He tried to everything.
He tried to chase after Waller's daughter, and he tripped over the fence and snapped his leg.
The bone was all sticking out and everything. And then he just like tried to do a military crawl like this, trying to get there. That was just wrong, man. And obviously Vigilante got shut up and stuff, man. And it was just like, and then he turns up and it's like,
yeah, life is all right.
How the hell are you still alive? You know what I mean? He's definitely a metahuman. I can he's definitely some kind of metahuman. And then obviously, like, after all the destruction, Peacemaker sees the blonde agent, and she's obviously been shot, and he picks her up and starts walking off there with her. Obviously they're going to take the hospital and stuff, and then we see the Justice League turn up.
Justice League.
With two people missing, which is the thing that has divided the bloody DC fandom, which is so we see the silhouette of Wonder Woman, Superman, Aquaman, and Flash, and we have a little kind of chat between Aquaman and Flash, which is quite interesting.
My problem with that is that Aquaman, to a degree, has been rebuilt from with Snyder introducing him in BV, from BVS, I guess you could say. And he's kind of a bit more of a character you can take serious. But in this, they kind of just dragged him back down to just being the idiot fish guy, to say that he had sex with fish. And even Flash says, but you do. Such a
yeah, exactly.
It's like, you trying to deconstruct this thing that we finally built up to be a kind of cool, kind of, decent character that we just want to go back to just being this pathetic joke.
I don't know if that was to sell Barry as just like a cheeky little shit, basically, or whether that was the Aquaman thing, because we had this thing earlier where just randomly Peacemaker's talking about Green Arrow, and like how he wears like a brony costume, which Mo actually told me what that was, like, because I took my daughter to see My Little Pony like a while back, and I didn't know what that was. And then I went on the internet to search it, and I was like, what the hell have I just seen here? So he's like, he goes to these Brony conventions, and he basically has the butt cut out and stuff like that. And it's just like, oh my God, why did he even come out with that? And then obviously, like, you know, Stephen Amell didn't get the joke, right? He's obviously a bit you know, a bit annoyed by that. So
you hear that? It was oddly enough, it was the Marvel crew that shot Barry stuff. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 crew.
Yeah, so basically they were doing a screen test for the guy who played Mur for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And then he's like, you know, can we use your set to shoot the cameos, basically? So yeah, they were shooting it on, you know, the Marvel Studio set, which is interesting, basically. So you know, we get some cooperation, obviously, between different things, which is always makes me laugh, because it's like, you know, it's like when you get two boxers and they're hammering the crap out of each other in the ring, right? And then afterwards they shake hands and stuff, and it's like, was that an act? Was that like a, you know,
hug
kind of thing? There, they give each other a hug and stuff, and it's kind of like, you know, the you know, the Marvel and DC is, you know, it's kind of the same thing. They're all in the same business and stuff like that there, basically. So apparently there was Cyborg and Batman in this, but they were both taken out by you know, by DC.
Would they have been in the field as well, or would they be somewhere? Yeah, is this because it was the body double, wasn't it, for Batman, that kind of gave that away?
Yeah, so body double for Batman, and apparently Cyborg was there as well. From, you know, people are asking them like questions and stuff like that, and you know, there was that there. So but basically, like, they hate Ray Fisher so much, right? That there's absolutely no way they would ever bring Cyborg in there whatsoever, because though it's like Ray Fisher and WB is just like, oh my God, man, it's like unbelievable. So this is the jokes, Warner Brothers, apparently it's Black History Month that they have in the USA, and Warner Brothers put up this thing saying DC celebrating, you know, black heroes. So they put up Black Lightning and Naomi and you know, some other characters and stuff. And they had 4 characters and no Cyborg. Right? So it's like celebrating black heroes in DC and literally no Cyborg.
Did Ray Fisher have anything to say about that?
Yes, he did. He did have a lot to say about that. So yeah, so he's so that was the thing. He basically just like laid into them, and I don't know whether that was before or after this thing was kind of coming out, and DC were like, oh, we're going to cut him out of it, or they did it before. I have no idea. So now there's all this speculation. Was this before the Flash film? Was this after the Flash film? I mean, this clearly looks like it's before, because it's got the earlier suit of Barry. However, it does have Aquaman's new suit in it. So we don't know. We'll see, man. Obviously, James Gunn's being quite tight-lipped, because he apparently is going to be concentrating on DC TV after finishing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So it looks like they've just said to him, mate, stay on and produce my £600 life for Discovery Plus, you know what I mean? So yeah, good finale. Looking forward to second season.
Warner, definitely. But Warner Bros., don't just give him the TV, just give him all of it, man. You need someone who understands these characters in the universe, who can kind of just orchestrate all of this. You need that one mind. You don't have that. Why not just let it be him? He has the passion for it, obviously. He doesn't have, I'm not saying he has to direct the films or write them, but just to help orchestrate the universe. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's something clearly happening there, because Matt Reeves has just done a new interview where he's concentrating on the Batman universe, but like he's saying like things are going to be linked together, and there's a multiverse of sorts and stuff like that. So I don't know what their plan is in this, but I guess this kind of makes me want to watch the Flash more, because I kind of think, okay, maybe there's going to be something in there which gives us some indication as to what the hell's actually going on in here.
I'd be very surprised if the Matt Reeves stuff connects to any of the other, because I can't. He's not that sort of director that really wants to be confined by having to, you know.
He just wants to do the Batman
his
stuff,
own thing.
Batman
He's tell his
only.
own stories. Yeah. Not be hampered by having to stick other characters in that you don't want.
Yeah, he says that his concentration is on like the Batman universe. So I guess that means, you know, the Batman, a proposed Catwoman series, Penguin,
Gotham.
GCPD,
yeah.
you know, and that's the thing that he's doing, and that's fine. He can concentrate on that as long as, you know, the more Batman, the better, basically, right? So we'll stick with Batman there for the moment, and some storyboards have linked online, which kind of the actual person who actually made this is now commenting on all the videos where this is actually coming up, because basically this guy and his wife made storyboards to send to WB for the Ben Affleck Batman versus Deathstroke kind of scenes and stuff like that, to say like, we are storyboard kind of, you know, directors and stuff like that, and we could make storyboards there for you, to in effect as a pitch to come in to do it there for WB. So this is not strictly from
this isn't from the script
Batman film. However, it is more like the people who are making the storyboards, you kind of knew the pitch and were like, right, let's show them what we can do as part of this this kind of thing. So obviously this is going around saying, oh, this is part of the Ben Affleck script, blah blah, but it's not, guys. Bring it to the other side.
To explain people, it's like an animated fight, rudimentary animation, but you still can clearly see it. Ben Affleck's Batman fighting against what's his name, Manganiello.
Deathstroke. Yeah, Joe Manganiello.
Manganiello's Deathstroke, and them fighting. And it's a cool fight. It's really good. It's a shame. It is a shame that it's not the official script, but still, that's what it could have been. Yeah,
exactly. Well, that's the thing, man. It's just like, there's just so much potential for these kind of things, man. It's just like, you know, it's just great. I kind of look at things and I think sometimes like things get made and they clearly have some kind of budget and stuff like that, and then you go and then you see that other stuff doesn't get made, which could, apart from the fact the stars will obviously command a lot more money and stuff, just doesn't get made. Like I watched this film called Fistful of Vengeance on the week.
Oh my god.
which was utterly atrocious.
Just the name.
Starring Iko Uwais.
This the new Netflix one.
Yeah.
I tried. I made 15 minutes and I was like, no, what am I doing? No.
It was the worst martial arts film I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen some really shitty films. But I kind of watched that and I think, man, how did this get made? And then like other stuff that could have had like a similar budget and stuff like that. Like in Fast and Furious, there's that guy, he's meant to be playing a Japanese guy, but I think he's actually Chinese, who's in and basically he's with the other guy from Tokyo Drift, and they're kind of building this like rocket basically, right? That they take into space, right? And it's like he's the main bad guy in this. It's like, would you look at this guy and be like, man, this is the main bad guy?
No, I looked. He's the one in the suit, the one that was kind of like their Tony Stark type. Oh, he was terrible. He was terrible,
mate. You basically have to watch that. Just like a terrible film to watch. I'm gonna watch that before the Batman, so my expectation becomes so low, right? That it's like can only go up from that after watching that horrendous film. So, Catwoman, obviously, we talked about there as well.
We haven't mentioned that they're gonna do a show, probably miniseries or something.
I said something about it, but anyway, you're right.
Which is We spoke about it last week. That's what I wanted, and they're doing it. Good.
Film where it's like she's just going to robbing places in the middle of the night and crazy security and trying to get through this and that, and I think they can make it super cool.
In Hunted, it does do the typical thing of that's what she's doing, these big heists, and she steals from like the wrong people, and then she kind of gets hired by Batwoman to work on her behalf on the good guy side to steal some shit. So
I think that definitely has legs, and I would definitely like to see that basically going forward. We also got some pictures of Superboy kind of like behind the scenes in Superman Lois. Superman Lois has kind of not been around for a couple of weeks now. It's coming back again. It's going to be coming back again. There's 2 episodes which are going to be directed by A to the double J, as she calls herself, which is Amy Jo Johnson, aka the Pink Ranger. She's got her two episodes that she's directing, so we'll see obviously what that is like. She's saying they're going to be action packed and stuff there, so we'll see.
Obviously, you haven't seen the episodes yet with this Superboy, but it's this stuff that I was saying I was worried about last time when I was worried about that last episode with how when we got a good look at Bizarro, it just kind of looked, just
well, this is the thing, like,
are they starting to just not care now? Is this the typical CW formula where they start off good and then they just slowly just kind of give up hope as the show kind of goes on and cut the budget? And
it's like they're going for the craziest look of Superboy that they could do, which is like the Connor Kent Superboy, which is basically like the leather jacket with the spikes on it and the red trousers, and he has a blue kind of fitted top basically, but
it's got like
it's
a
weird.
mohawk.
Yeah, well, he kind of has that, as Superboy, but the thing is that's Connor Kent, which is the clone, which is a clone Superboy, and obviously you've got John Kent, who is the son of of Superman and Lois. So, but this one, I think the son with the red trousers on is called Jonathan, isn't he? And then the other one, what's the other one called? I can't remember what the other one's called.
I remember.
But then now they've flipped John Kent into Connor Kent, and then the other one's obviously gonna have that. So it looks like he's gonna continue having powers while he's drugged up, you know what I mean? And it's like, you're right about the CW stuff. They've blacked out his eyes a little bit, haven't they, to make it look like, he's a bit drugged up and he's a bit kind of
dude, man. Please, this was your good show. Don't ruin it by going down this road. Just keep it good.
That's the thing. If you blow the budget like straight away, that's what's gonna happen, man. That's what's gonna happen. I'm not sure about that, but we'll review it next week, guys, when the new episode comes out. So we're gonna be talking about a little bit about gaming now as well. There was a new game trailer which came out there, which is to do with our universe, basically. The Star Wars The Old Republic trailer for Legacy of the Sith, man, which is basically the new expansion in the online MMO.
Of course. Yes.
And like usual, man, the cinematic trailers absolutely
better than the films. You know how many times I've actually sat like with the previous ones, people that have compiled them together as like 4K, and this is like 40-minute long thing. Man, the times I've sat and watched those, like they're better than the films. The last 3, obviously. It's like, and the previous 2, the 3.
But that was my prediction about what they were going to do to Finn, right? Because when I watched, when I played SW Tour, which I still do now, but basically like, they had this character in there called Jace Malcolm, and Jace Malcolm, even though he didn't have any force powers, he was an absolute badass of a character. He basically ended up becoming the general of the Republic with all the scars on his face and stuff when he's battling Darth Malgus and stuff, and had this mad laser minigun that basically would just hold and just fire like billions of rounds at people and stuff. And I was like, man, if they make Finn into that, it would just be such a badass character, right? But no.
They did not know what to do with Finn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
just just ruined him basically. So yeah, I mean, the Legacy of the Sith trailer is basically about one of the things that a lot of people in Star Wars fans have been talking about for a long time, which is like the Jedi in effect take Force users as children or babies, and then kind of raise them up in like a monastery kind of thing based on their religious dogma, pretty much, to say, you go and become this and you've got to protect the Republic. And the Sith are more like, you lead by your emotions, and you do, you basically follow your own whatever way you want to go. But what Darth Malgus is saying in this is basically both of them are wrong, because the Sith have basically got this one thing that they want to conquer everything, rule everything, get to the highest levels of echelons and all that kind of stuff. And the Jedi basically just want to protect the Republic, but also keep stealing children to put in their temples, right? But his mission is like, we can go and find these other kids that have been rejected by the Jedi, and kind of what they can do and stuff. So that's gonna probably occupy a lot of my life playing
Love it.
which is just like, that's the thing. I've got to the end game in that, because I completed basically everything kind of in it, and now just going around and doing, whenever you play a game and it's like you've done the whole thing, but then there's these crappy little missions where it's like, can you go and get this thing for me from here, and this guy's got it and he's a gangster or whatever, and just like crap missions like that where you just think, oh, I can't be bothered to play it and stuff like that. But obviously the new one is going to be looks amazing, man. Why can't they just get the people who write that?
That's what I was about to say. Like, you got Disney Plus. You don't want to give them the films, fine. You got Disney Plus, you need content. Just give these writers for this, and maybe in the directors of the animation of it, just give them a little budget and let them do something. Come on.
Do you think maybe they should do that as well? Like, they should actually get their own Star Wars editors to get all the cutscenes and all that kind of stuff and edit something together as a film and put it on Disney Plus, right? Like all the stuff from those.
But there's so much of the Old Republic. I think that needs to be a show. That needs to be an ongoing thing. And they can do it now.
What I'm saying is from the game. So like, the stuff that you see on YouTube, if they brought that on Disney Plus to like a wider audience or something, exactly. I think a lot of people would be watching about that and commentating on it. But from one thing that we really do want to see to one thing that nobody bloody asked for in the world, which is like spawned so many memes all over all the DC forums and stuff, which is like but like it says, like a lot of them say like fans, and it said WB's like asking the fans like, oh, what would you like? And that fans are like, Man of Steel 2, like obviously. Batman movie, Batman movie, Justice League 2, blah blah. Then Warner Brothers like, Wonder Twins? Is that what you asked for? Like, so we've still got we got Wonder Twins now, and we still got Our Man, which apparently is still in development there as well, which also nobody has asked for there as well.
Dude, Wonder Twins even still in the comics?
No, they're long gone.
Why?
Long gone.
Is there some like 70-year-old executive somewhere at Warner Brothers that used to watch the like cartoons or something when they were a kid, and it's like, oh, I wanted to bring them back. The kids will love that.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is slightly controversial.
Oh, go for it.
But the Wonder Twins have got that kind of gender fluidity vibe kind of thing, right? You know what I'm saying? So they need each other to gain powers. They basically have to come together as the two different genders. Powers and stuff.
I can imagine that. I can see it now in like the little discussion around the table with his ex. Like, this will be perfect. It's perfect timing. Yeah. And then probably not wrong. If they do it right, which they won't, it's gonna be W. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They're obviously thinking to themselves, right, how do we get this in some kind of storyline or whatever? Because basically they're like, there's always something that comes up, and they're like, some idiot executive is going to be like basically banging his fist on the desk saying like, Marvel put a gay character in Eternals, where's our character? I want our character now, like that. And then it's like, okay, fine, we'll make the Wonder Twins, right? And they'll be like, it's like, dude, seriously, man. They're all chasing each other to like, outdo each other in that kind of way. That's what I reckon anyway. That's my theory on it. I could be, I could be wrong, and quite often I am wrong about these things, but that is my thought process about it. In effect, what the Wonder Twins are is basically they don't have powers by themselves, but they have to basically be with each other and combine in order to do it. And I guess that could be an interesting enough story if it was like one person decided, oh, I don't want to be a hero anymore, and I've got to kind of go out on my own.
Obviously, that's going to be one of the stories in the show.
Which is what's going to happen. But if you're going to go like that, you might as well go really messed up and be like conjoined twins kind of situation. Where it's like, I watched this documentary. Horror. I watched this documentary where I felt so sorry for the people, because they were conjoined by like the head, and they can't be separated because they share like blood supply to each brain or whatever. And one of them was like, oh, I wanna go on a date or something, and the other somehow, I don't know, went on a date or something like that. And then the other one is like, oh no, I don't want to go. I want to stay at home. I want to watch TV. It's like, Ross, mate, you literally are joined together. So
is that the one that's joined at the body or the one that's joined at the head?
They're joined at the head, like literally. Like,
have you seen the one where it's the girls that's got the one body but the two heads, and one head wants to be like the country singer, and the other one has no control over the body, like they can only do what the other one wants to do, and you just think, well, how is that life? Like, again, going on dates and stuff, it's like, how do you live that way?
That's the thing, man. So Wonder Twins, a lot of interesting stuff, but it's going to be the standard trope, that's the thing. Men and women have to work together to make superpowers or whatever, to fight evil and stuff like that. So this year we had a new category going in the Oscars, right? And the new category is fan favorite category, which you can actually go and vote for. I guess the reason why they did that is basically so that they could make it more popular, because the Oscars kind of is going down and down. Nobody's really
to appease people that want the blockbusters to win something. Yeah.
So what do you think is leading at the moment?
Oh, I know.
No Googling.
I know already. I know.
Okay, you've seen it already.
And I'm absolutely disgusted.
So do you want to tell everybody what it's leading right now?
Well, from the article I read, it was Amazon's Cinderella.
Yes, Amazon Cinderella,
which is an abomination of a movie. It's like,
if that abomination wins, wins the Oscar, then that's gonna be. So this is another thing that Snyder fans are going nuts about, because they're like, basically, because in effect, they're saying that Justice League was a director's cut of the 2017 or 2018 Justice League. Because it's a director's cut, it's not eligible for fan favorite, whatever. So that's got no eligibility. But in a world where Spider-Man is coming second to Cinderella on,
and I blame those Snyder fans for voting on Cinderella, and they're not thinking ahead. You have to think of the long-term damage that trolling like this causes, because these crappy directors and the crappy writers, they now can say that they have an Oscar-winning movie if this wins, which it looks looking like it will do. And Hollywood, as far as they're concerned, these guys are successes. They made an Oscar-winning picture. So Warner Brothers would be like, hey, why don't we give them our next Batman movie? That's the long-term damage you have to think towards. That these people could end up having control over something you love. And it's your fault.
Deathstroke
Exactly.
Deathstroke by the directors of Cinderella.
That's
It's
what you have to
coming
think of.
soon.
Be responsible and don't troll. Come on, man.
Oh my god, they're gonna probably do King Shark or something like King Shark,
Yeah.
directed by the directors of
But it's
Cinderella.
true. That's how Hollywood thinks, man. They don't. Oh,
That's
God.
exactly what they're gonna do. Do you know sometimes you'll get somebody who directs like an Oscar-winning film, like a short film
Yeah.
or something that doesn't really get much traction, and forever they will just be given stuff like continuously, like yeah, go ahead,
Yep.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, because you've got that thing that is like, oh, I'm an Academy Award winner, or or whatever, basically. So, um, yeah, that's bizarre to me, man. If that wins, that is an abomination. That seals for me the death of the Oscars, right? Because you've even tried to put in a fan favorite category,
Oh,
and they're
sure.
voting for one of the worst things
And
ever.
and
You might as well vote.
it also shows you just can't trust people anymore. The whole concept of fan voting on social media, you just can't trust it anymore because people just cannot be trusted. It's
There is a silent majority who enjoy
yeah.
garbage, right? For example, I I have basically on the film forum that I'm on, there's a lot of people raving about this film Kimmy, starring what's her
Zoe
name?
Kravitz.
Zoe Kravitz. And I only watched it because I was like Catwoman. And
Yeah.
basically, let's see, because the only thing I can remember Zoe Kravitz in back in the day was X-Men. And I'm thinking I haven't really seen much
Oh
else that
yeah.
she's been in, because she was that butterfly thingy
Mm.
in X-Men, right? I can't remember what it was. So yeah, I just thought, okay, let me watch that, and people giving this 5 out of 5 and stuff like that, and I was like, this is like the most basic filmmaking storyline, poor level quality of
Yeah.
film. But there's a lot of people who watch it and be like, yeah, this is amazing, man. This is like so great. I love it. And yeah, and I blame Netflix for that, because Netflix has conditioned people into thinking their TV series and stuff usually is pretty high quality, but their films are
Film
atrocious.
Fistful of
And
Vengeance.
yeah, and they've and they've conditioned people into thinking the shit that like me and like my family and friends used to go to the back of blockbusters to get like a really shitty film to like watch for the weekend and stuff like that. They've conditioned people into thinking those films are like top tier quality. And yeah,
You're
and now
partly
it's
to blame because you watch these things. You go out of your way to find these films and watch them, and that contributes to the algorithm where they think, oh,
and then I
people
give
like
them a
this.
thumbs down. I give them a thumbs down every single time. I'm the person who gives them. I'm the person who rates all these films thereafter. I'm the one who goes onto Amazon Prime Video and writes a horrendous review of like some
Ah,
of the worst films that I've ever seen, like Coma. Oh my god, you still need to see Coma, Eds, man. That's like, even if you just watch the first 10 minutes, I want to have a review of what you can't think of.
oh, right.
So we've got George R.R. Martin, who, dude, you should be writing
It's,
Game of Thrones.
they're
Just
never
finish
gonna
Game
be
of
done.
Thrones off,
And I
right?
think he realizes no one cares anymore.
No one cares anymore.
Yeah.
So now he's apparently doing Marvel Comics Wild Cards, which is, I think, going to be a film. But I have no idea what Wild Cards is. And I'm going to have to Google it now. So do you know anything?
I
It
do
sounds
not.
a bit fringe to me. But, it's like, I, I don't know, like who pitches this kind of stuff? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, there's so many other kind of characters and stuff like that that's coming. Um, Let me have a look and see what it says. So uh, it's called Wild Cards: The Drawing of the Cards, right? And it is basically about um, it is a saga set in a new world reshaped by the emergence of superpowers. So it looks like a 1940s kind of thing. It's got like a noir kind of detective, and like what's it called, a fighter pilot, like a 1940s fighter pilot. So it's kind of the emergency superpowers in those days. So
this is
yeah,
its own little pocket thing that doesn't affect
doesn't
Marvel
affect
proper.
anything. Yeah, in fact, it may. I've got to read this properly because it may actually even be a comic series that he's doing. In which case, if it is a comic series, dude, why are you not just finish writing Game of Thrones, mate, instead? You know what I mean?
He's bored of it. That's why.
He's bored of
He's
it.
been doing
Yeah.
it for decades. He just hasn't.
Have you ever listened to those audiobooks?
Oh
Or
yeah.
like, you know,
Oh yeah.
they're so hard to listen to, man. Like,
I loved them.
they're
I did love them.
so hard. Like
What got me annoyed though is when it got to the point where it split in the time where, not the timelines, where it only followed this group of characters for one book and then different group for the other book over the same sort of time. But yeah, and I was like, yeah, this is getting too mad now. I can't be over this.
Too mad. Yeah, I mean the lore stuff that people do on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah,
is
those
pretty
are
cool,
amazing.
man. It's pretty interesting to kind of watch and stuff like that. So keeping with like fringe characters and stuff like that, 50 Cent
Yes.
is
I've been waiting for this. Explain who the hell this
50
is.
Cent. So this is the thing, like, okay, so 50 Cent apparently is, which I'm going to bring up the article now. 50 Cent is basically like got a production team, production unit, which is called G Unit, right? And they're developing a live action movie based on Christopher Priest's Zero comic, right? So the thing about Zero was that even though Zero is a DC Comics character, it was basically there for like 3 years and had no real impact on any of the DC universe, and then disappeared. And now Christopher Priest actually owns the rights to it. So there's actually no rights that belong to DC. So this is, even though this is being portrayed as a DC film, this has got absolutely nothing to do with DC
Hence why
whatsoever.
Hence why 50 wants it, because yeah, he can get in the superhero movie game.
Exactly.
And have his own little control. And he's had success over producing stuff now. You know, we all know how successful Power's been, all the spin-offs and all the various shows that he's been doing. So he most likely won't even be acting in this. Hopefully he won't. He's got the sense not to do it.
No. So what he said is there's no one better than Christopher Priest to bring G Unit film and TV into the world of comic book superheroes. Said Jackson. Watch as we build Zero into a franchise alongside Christopher and Color Farm Media. I can't wait for the world to meet Train Walker in an all new way. So I mean, it's basically
who is the character? Who is Zero?
So Zero is basically this like government assassin who happens to be a black guy, but basically I'm laughing because this is like so ridiculous, but it's going to play into a certain audience who are going to like this, which is basically like he has the power of invisibility where he can kind of like change his appearance and stuff, kind of like Mystique style, right? So he changed his appearance to a white blonde guy, so he can go and do his spying basically, right? And that's the thing. So he's kind of like he doesn't fit in like the world of like African American people, and he also doesn't fit in the white world because he's kind of pretending to be that kind of thing. It's also set very slightly in the future, like 25 years. So and it's kind of like James Bondy kind of style basically, right? So the only thing that is interesting about it is that there's the other production company that is doing it. It's called Illuminus, right? And the guy who did who's basically like the CEO of it, did a lot of the comic books with Greg Rucka, with the Batman Detective Comics kind of run and stuff like that. So I mean, it's it's interesting in that point of view, but I don't know how far you can go into it because there's no IP there. There's no like oh, we've got loads of characters and stuff. It's literally one dude who's like a black undercover kind of thing, spy, and basically disguise himself as a white guy, and but I don't know how that's gonna play now.
That don't
these
sound
days.
particularly interesting and not particularly timely either. They might have to change some stuff, but yeah.
Well, that's the thing. He says in there that we're going to do an all new take on it. So I would suspect they're going to be doing, things that are, maybe a bit more modern. I mean, I kind of still think to myself, like, especially TV in America has quite a long way to go on certain things, because it's like, it's now kind of, obviously it's not acceptable really to to put up stereotypes and things of African Americans and stuff like that, but it seems to be perfectly acceptable to do it to Latinos and Arabs and Indians. Like, Indians on American TV are portrayed as like the most stereotypical like you can get.
Pretty much still. Even though there is a bit of a campaign to bring back Apu to Simpsons by an Indian comedian, which I think
Apu is fine, man, because Apu was like basically
a business owner.
He was, when you were, and the thing is, when you're a kid, he was like really the only brown man on TV. You know what I mean? It was like Apu basically it was like, whoa, there's actually a brown dude in this. You know what I mean? And he owns a business. He owns a legit business, basically, right? He's literally the only kind of legit person that is.
And there was I think his name was Carl. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe pulled out of the air, but there was a black guy who worked at the power station as well.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, there was literally there was like two of them, and the doctor.
Yes.
The doctor as well. So yeah, that was pretty much it. But it's kind of like, I don't mind that, but I'll have to see a trailer and stuff there for this, because I'm kind of like, I've got to the stage now where I kind of think, okay, if you're gonna portray certain people kind of well, then I think you got to go across the board there and have good characters of every ethnicity, rather than picking one group and saying that's the best thing to do. You know what I mean? But yeah, James Bondian, maybe, I don't know. What else is 50 Cent produces? The series called Power, apparently.
There's Power, and there's a bunch of spin-offs from that, of characters from that, and they've been very successful. And what's it, the BML? His TV stuff's done well. He knows his audience. So if he's looking to target that audience, which most likely is, he could, if it's good, he might do all right.
Yeah,
the pitch doesn't sound that interesting, not to be honest.
It's weird, because then it's like you've got to now make up characters.
Yeah.
To expand the universe, which I don't know how many people are going to be interested in that. You know what I mean? Like,
let's be honest. How many people that are considering themselves fans of the MCU? How many of the real sort of regular people out there in the world actually read any of the comic books? They never read it. They never read an Iron Man comic in their life, but they fell in love with the character from the films.
It's like, when WandaVision came out, there was this graphic novel which then appeared in, like, I feel sorry for W.H. Smith sometime, which is a retail shop, newsagent kind of shop in the UK, because somebody's obviously told them, look, WandaVision's coming out, you need to stock this graphic novel. So basically every W.H. Smith that I went into, like, in the area, and I travel around the country there all the time, they've always got this Wanda and Vision, it's called Wanda and Vision graphic novel, and it just sat on the shelves there forever because nobody's buying it, right? Because it's like, no kid's gonna be like, oh yeah, I really like that WandaVision, let me go and get that graphic novel, when it actually coincidentally looks nothing like the show that I've actually
wrong
seen.
Audience there. When he wasn't the kids film, was it? Kid show? No,
exactly. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see, obviously, that trailer and see how that goes down. And one thing that's definitely not for kids is the thing that we're gonna finish up on there today, which is the new trailer for The Boys animated Diabolical. Right?
This looks crazy.
This is basically like the comic books, right? And I've got a feeling they're gonna go mad like they do in the comic books, man.
Yeah, it's an anthology, so different animation for different stories. So I wonder how many episodes, maybe like 8 or 9.
Because the thing is, they did have like they had obviously the main storyline of the boys. But then they'd always have these little kind of things which would be like completely separate from it. So it'd be like say, you know, the story of Butcher, you know, it'd be like his kind of backstory, and like, you know, the story of Frenchie, like, you know, when, you know, and the, you know, different kind of things, like they kind of have these different separate kind of things, or like the story of the you know, the superheroes in a completely different you know, completely different part of that universe. So I'm wondering if they're doing stuff like that. And the cool thing is that when this was actually made, and you know, they designed the boys story, you know, comic book. The whole point is that they designed Simon Pegg as as the character, and in this, Simon Pegg is actually in it voicing. Right, so everything's gone full circle, man. Simon Pegg is voicing the character that they based the dude on. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. So I think The Boys is gonna be a perfect antidote to a lot of the, you know, just the very kind of super over the top stuff that we're going to get this year, because we're going to get a lot of that, and The Boys is going to be like, you know, down to earth kind of crazy.
Down to earth? What earth do you live in?
Well, that's the thing, man. I don't know, somewhere something some you know, crazy missions are going on, man. You'd be like, you know, it's like there was a Russian athlete who's like 15, and they were basically giving her some drugs to like slow her heart down and stuff like that, so that she could do all the moves without any nerves and things like that. And it's like, this is a 15-year-old you're like giving these drugs
insane. And they let her carry on. They let her compete. It's crazy.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, you know, if they're doing that, and those are the things where you've got to have rules, what are they doing to battlefield troops where there's the only rule is win, basically, right? So, you know, I mean, we think about 70, 80 years ago when they were giving amphetamines, methamphetamine to, you know, to the Nazi troops. What have they got now that they're giving to people? You know what I mean? They're probably, I don't know, they're probably giving some crazy shit to these people, man. So we're not that far off, you know.
Hey, we already spoken it once before about, you know, the remains of the Thracian army that they're trying to breed and bring back. Dead.
Yeah, exactly.
No limits.
Man, exactly. Everybody's gonna, once that happens, everybody's gonna start doing it. Oh, let's dig up the Spartans and like take some DNA out of the bone marrow and stuff like that. And the Greeks will become like this major force again in the world. You know what I mean? Yeah, that would just be hilarity, man. Yeah, so yeah, man. Tons of stuff to look forward to, you know, that's coming up and things like that. But it seemed like at the moment it's obviously a bit of a lull in the you know, in the content that is kind of coming out.
I don't see it as a lull. I see it as a chance for us to get our breath, prepare ourselves, to prepare our wallets, and be prepared, so our bodies are ready.
Be prepared. Yeah, that is true, man. For the, you know, for the Obi-Wan trailer, which nobody has seen yet, even though it's meant to be coming out in like, you know, whatever time. Wasn't there something? There was something that I've forgotten on here, which is actually meant to be coming out in a few months, but we haven't even seen a single trailer for. I can't remember what it is now. There's something that's coming out in a few months.
It's the Andor. Is it Andor? That character from Rogue One.
No, there was a trailer there for that. But there's something else.
It was a teaser though. It was barely a trailer.
Yeah, I guess so. That's also, you know, that a lot of people, you know, on the film forum and stuff as well, are really liking, because they're like, the only thing they liked in the sequels was Rogue One. So maybe, but I don't know, man. Who's asking for Andor? You know what I mean? I want to see, you know what I mean? There's so many other things that, you know, that you want to see and stuff like that. I want to see the story of that Wookiee bloody bounty hunter, like just going around the galaxy. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I
He was
mean?
interesting.
Like,
Yeah.
I want to see that storyline. You know what I mean? So guys, you can email us on dcvsmarvelpod@gmail.com, and you can also go to the Facebook page DCVS Marvel Podcast and let us know about the topics there from today, and also what would you like to see in Star Wars and stuff there as well. We've got some messages there as well. We'll get to those next week, which is kind of about Aquafina and stuff like that. We'll talk about that because me and Eds need to kind of figure out what we're going to say about that there first before we kind of before we talk about that and stuff. If you guys want to listen to the latest reviews and things like that on all TV and movies, you can find Ed on his other podcast there as well, which is
Talking at the Movies, guys. Go check that out for all movies and TV news.
Yeah, and only 2 weeks to the Batman, so we'll see.
Yeah, man. Finally gonna be here. Can't
wait. Exactly, guys. So we'll see you again next time.
See you later, guys.